What are the closing costs when you're buying a house? Well, today we're going to talk about that right now. Are you thinking about moving to Edmonton? Part of moving to Edmonton, if you're buying a house, is your closing costs. So I want to talk to you about the closing costs so you have no surprises when you're buying a home. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about all the closing costs involved when you're buying a house. So that's specific to Edmonton, Alberta. When you have finally gotten to a place where you're ready to buy the home, so working with an agent, zero cost. No cost to work with me to help you find a home and show you homes and get you to the point where we're actually negotiating an offer. And once we have the offer conditional, accepted, so price is acceptable to both you and the seller, the conditions are acceptable to both you and the seller, any extra terms are acceptable to you and the seller. We are now what's called pending, and now is when the money starts to come out of your pocket, so we say. So what happens is we want to put this offer to the mortgage broker. They're going to submit it to get official approval. Now, sometimes you will have to pay an appraisal cost. Usually that ranges around $250. If you're buying a condos, you want to have those documents checked out, and it costs around $500 to have your condominium documents checked. Now, you can use a lawyer. They will charge you more money. You can also just review them yourselves. As a professional, we highly recommend that you do have someone who only looks at condo docs actually look at your property, because you want to make sure you're not getting into something that might have some major red flags. Now, the other costs incurred during this conditional time is also your home inspection. The home inspection is usually, again, around $500. Super important that you get this done so you know what you're getting yourself into. You want to know if the big things like the roof, the furnace, the electrical are all in good standings, and so we don't need to worry about those, or if we need to renegotiate, or what the situation may be for that house. Maybe it's you need to actually walk away from the home. And it could cost you a lot more if you don't do that home inspection. If you are getting a new build home, my advice is to consider getting a home inspection once you've lived in the home, so water has passed through. I have heard that other people also recommend getting it before you buy, because it may spot things that you may or may not want to have in your new home. So all those costs were to do with the conditional stage, so you hadn't yet purchased the home. Now, once everything is satisfactory and you do remove conditions, now you're sold, you have purchased that home, what other costs are going to be incurred with your home purchase? Well, 1 week or so before your possession date, you will be going to the lawyers. The lawyers are going to give you a statement of disbursements. It's going to list out all the costs that you need to consider. Now, something of note, if you're from out of province, you may be used to paying a land transfer tax. We do not have land transfer tax here, so it saves you a lot of money when you're buying a house, because you're just paying for your mortgage. You're paying for the legal fees, which is usually around $1,000. The real property report that you get if you're buying a single family home is actually the seller's cost, not yours. So that's kind of nice. In the statement of disbursements, you're also going to see the land transfer, so land title transfer. So that's not the land transfer tax, it's a land title transfer, which is significantly less. It's about around the $100 mark as of today's recording. The lawyers will all figure all this stuff out for you. The other costs that are incurred are costs that you would normally have to pay anyway. So property taxes are paid. They can be paid monthly or they can be paid annually. So if you purchased a home and you're moving in for September, the seller may have already paid for the full year from June to June. So what they do is they prorate that amount so that at the lawyers, you're taking the property taxes from September until the following June. If the person who is selling you the house is paying taxes monthly, there will be no cost extra there incurred. Another cost that's completely optional is actually title insurance. So you'd want to talk to your lawyer about this, and this cost is dependent on the size of home and the age of home, usually ranging under $300. And this is to protect you as the buyer if anything were to come up about your specific home. If you know about specific problems, such as a deck having no permit, this won't necessarily cover that because you already knew that the deck didn't have a permit. So the title the title insurance is really important if there's things that you don't know about the property. So the other cost when buying a home that you want to not forget about is also insurance. That has to do with home insurance to protect your home if it was to burn down or get robbed. But you also want to think about life insurance to actually cover you that if anything were to actually happen, the mortgage insurance, not from the bank, this actually, life insurance will cover not only the insurance for covering your mortgage, but also anything else you've decided with your significant other and with your life insurance partner. That's really important to consider that cost. You do need to have some sort of insurance set up. You can have it from the bank, which is the mortgage insurance, not CMHC or Genworth. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the bank wants to know if something were to happen to you, who's going to pay that mortgage. So the banks will offer you something, and I highly recommend life insurance. Why? It's because when you have mortgage insurance from the bank, and as you pay your mortgage down every single month, you're still paying the same amount of money every month, but what you're being covered for goes down because you're paying down your mortgage. With life insurance, you're paying that same amount all the time, and as you pay your mortgage down, that amount of money, let's say $1-2 million that you're covered for, is going to be extra money for whoever's left behind. So if your whole mortgage is paid off, you can actually use that. They can use it for whatever they need to do, whether they're going to buy another property or help kids go to school. So a side note, if you are buying a new build home, your legal fees are actually covered by the builder, usually. You can let me know which builder you're thinking of building with, and I can let you know. Not all of them cover it, but usually a lot of them do. So that cost would actually not even be on your plate. You want to consider, though, if you're buying new, they don't usually give you a real property report, which is usually what a seller is supposed to give you. So it's not immediate money you need to spend now, but later when you put the deck and the fence in, and if you ever want to sell, it's a $600 cost for the real property report if you ever were to sell. So just want to make sure you understand that. So those are all the costs that you're going to incur when you're purchasing a home. If you think I might have forgotten something, please comment down below. Every single city and province all varies in their closing costs. I'm just talking about Edmonton, Alberta, and obviously with a single family home, a condo, buying a new build home, those all have different kinds of values in terms of costs incurred. If you want to get a moving checklist, make sure to fill in that link below and you will get a moving checklist that we'll send that'll help you when you're considering moving and buying a house in Edmonton.